Yeah, I'm back.
Yeah, I was just saying, what's been going on?
Not much.
Is the Hall of Fame game, as far as NFL, is that the only thing that's been played so far? Or is other games?
Yeah, they always start off with the Hall of Fame game, and then
There was another game.
Was it just like...
Who was it? There's somebody that was supposed to be playing.
I can't remember.
Hall of Fame game, to my knowledge, is the only game that was played, and the Panthers start tomorrow. I know that much.
I think I know the Cowboys, they make it a big deal because they doing that.
Yeah, the Cowboys are playing somebody, and the Jets are playing somebody too.
Yeah, they know they doing those practices with the teams practicing with each other. And, the scrimmages, and then they play each other. I forgot what teams, but everybody, like a handful of teams, like maybe eight to 10 teams are doing that, and they about to play with each other. Play each other, I guess. I don't know. Preseason, so I guess I can barely keep up the regular season these days, so I can't worry about the preseason right now. But I was just curious.
I can't remember. No, so far it's only been the Bears and the Ravens that played. But
right, for the Hall of Fame game.
Right, but this week there's supposed to be a couple of games.
It's about yeah. So, but
tomorrow it's the Browns and the Giants are playing, so we get our first look at was it Saquon
Barkley?
Yeah.
The running back. Saquon Barkley, yeah. And then Dallas and San Francisco play tomorrow, and the Rams and the Ravens play.
Dang, Ravens right back at it. Yeah, I've been migrating over to NFL Network, man, because I don't even what is the ESPN crew gonna look like this year? Like, who's left?
Man, listen, that Monday Night Football crew look a hot blame it mess.
Who do they have?
They got your man that retired from the Cowboys, the tight end, Witten.
You got Jason.
They got Jason Witten. And it was somebody else because they had him up there for.
Look at them Braves. Right?
Yes, sir.
They had him up there for something else. Was it during the Hall of Fame game or something? They cut to them for something, or doing a preview show or something. And I can't remember. It was a spotty crew. Let me see. Let me go to the Google. So please.
I'm sorry, Ladies. I just turned on. I just saw boy. I just saw my boy. I always say his last name wrong. Branch. This dude just blew this man away with 97 miles per hour of heat. Ooh. My Braves are back. Yes.
It's Joe Testore. Jason Witten. Testator, yes. Joe Testator, Jason Witten.
You about bad as me with names.
Listen, I don't know him. Booger McFarland and Lisa Salters.
Not Booger jacked up fingers. McFarland.
Yes.
Booger McFarland?
Yeah,
I can see him doing college games, but pro?
Yeah.
He was doing college, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was doing commentating in the pre games shows. But he's good at that too. He knows his college teams, man, but pros?
Yeah, like I said, when they had him up there I think it was the Hall of Fame game, I'm not sure. But it was something they had him on and they cut to him talking about some mess. And I was like,
I can't wait till NFL Network bids for the Monday night because
it was
a lot. Well, it
was bad, Pete. It was pretty bad, and I know it wasn't quote unquote regular season, but it's obvious that Jason Witten is totally new with this whole commentating thing because he has no ever flow going right now at all.
Won't they? But I think the thing, like I said, like ESPN, just give it 5 years ago. I mean, you got personalities like the Chris Carters and the Keyshaws and of course old school Tom Jackson and all that. But then if you look at NFL Network now, like they got their standard guys, right? The Michael Irvins, the Marshall Faulks, Mooch, right? They got
Faulks. Was it Marshall gone?
I think Marshall's gone now. You're right.
He got caught up in that sexual harassment
thing. So I think,
I was about to say right now, all they have, because I watched the Hall of Fame inductee ceremony on ESPN, but the NFL Network's coverage went longer, so after ESPN's ended, I flipped over. So right now, they had LaDainian Tomlinson.
They got LT and Dion.
They still had.
What about Kurt?
Kurt wasn't up there. They had LaDainian Tomlinson.
I think Kurt's still
Michael
there.
Irvin. He might still be there, but he wasn't up there.
He wasn't on the Hall of Fame cover.
No, Kurt was on the stage. Kurt was on the stage.
But they didn't bring him up for the panel. Michael Irvin was on the stage too, but they brought Michael Irvin back after it was over.
Oh, okay, yeah. Because I saw Kurt. I saw Kurt on the stage.
Yeah, Kurt.
You got to get the play. Come on, 2 wide receivers went in. You got to get the playmakers.
Because
the playmaker.
And so, who else? And they had Terrell Davis. Mm-hmm. So they had
who struggles.
Right, him and LaDainian Tomlinson. Listen,
struggle.
Together, those two and Michael Irvin in the English language, it was rough. Jeez. Yeah, it was rough. It was rough.
It was struggled. Yeah. He was trying to interview. Who was he interviewing? And he asked the question like four different ways and said the same exact thing. I was like, what?
Yeah, it was a struggle. But they had Ray Lewis and Randy Moss come onto the panel to talk to them after the ceremony.
Why would Randy get a word in?
So let's talk about.
He did. Randy Moss was not here for Ray Lewis's shenanigans, okay?
Look, but my thing is though, Hall of Fame, right? So let's turn our attention to that, man. The Hall of Fame. Why was Randy Moss up there giving a speech like he had just stopped playing? Like, now that I've stopped playing, Daddy's home. I'm like, you've been home for 5 years.
Right.
Like, this is a 5-year process, bro. Like, he was talking like he was still out there doing something. Like, you ain't.
Well, he was. No. He's out there commentating. He's not playing.
Yeah, like he was at training camp and sweating and doing all the stuff he doing for 5 years. I was like, you've been home. You home.
Wait, but before we get to that part, can we talk about the names that he listed off? I was like, wait.
Oh, the kids?
Did he have more kids than your man?
Well, I think some of those kids, but I think some of those. Yeah. He had
that out as he kept going.
Yeah.
When he first started, I was like, dude.
I think he has 5. Or 4 or 5, and then the nieces and nephews that he took custody of, which is cool. Which cool.
But at first I was concerned.
Everybody in that stadium was sitting there thinking the same thing. Like, wait a minute, like
right. I was like, dude, so did you just start having kids the minute you hit the league? Like, I was confused. And then because, too, they pan to the crowd, and I'm like, some of these kids is mad old. What are we doing? I was so perplexed.
Well, his oldest, the one that, he's
his
got a lot going on.
Yeah, his oldest is in college, but I still was like, bruh, a lot we got going on here with all these names. And then as he kept talking, I was like, oh, okay, some of them are nieces and nephews. Got it.
And why did I forget? This right here tells you how when people get out of the league, that even though they were great, if they don't end great, you just tend to forget certain things about them. I forgot that Randy Moss was on the 49ers in that Super Bowl. I forgot all about that. When he said, Ray took mine, Ray, you got that one. I was like, what is he talking about? I was like, oh, Kaepernick and Randy Moss was on that team.
Yes, they were.
And that was 5 years ago.
Together.
I was like, Rod, I was like, it's been 5 years since that Super Bowl.
Look, I forgot too.
God, dog. I was like, dang, he was on that team.
He was.
Oh, man. Yeah.
I forgot he was with the Raiders.
No. I ain't forget he was with the Raiders because that was bad. Because that was a bad. He had a half a year, good year, and then it was all down here the next year and a half. He was.
And that might be rough. That might be why I forgot, because when he was like so and so the Raiders, I was like, bruh, you were with the Raiders.
You forget that he's with the Titans. That's what you forget.
Okay, you're right.
He was at the Titans for like 4 games.
2 seconds, same thing.
That's what he said too. and he thanked them for 2 seconds. Thank you, Titans. Moving on.
Right.
I was like,
and bless Brian Dawkins' heart. He totally forgot the Broncos.
Right.
He totally. But to his credit, he did go onto his Twitter account, because I think I posted it in the Facebook group, or it might have been another Facebook group I'm in, where my boy is actually a Broncos fan, and he made a post about it, and he apologized. He thanked them and the Bronco fans, the owners and whatnot, and then he apologized. He was like, it wasn't an intentional omission, and I was like,
but at the same time though, that's not a good look. you gotta give a shout out, because it's not like the Broncos isn't a good organ. Like, for what we know, right? We don't know anybody there, but what we do, the Broncos
he didn't have 2 bad seasons with him. He had 2 good seasons.
He played well with them. They that team.
And so like I said, he did go back. He made the post. He apologized, but he also was the only person that got up there and didn't have a script. He totally was talking off the top of his head. So I can see him forgetting it.
That's not always a good thing, though.
It isn't. I mean, Ray Lewis had a script and it was still a train wreck.
Look. So first of all, let's talk about like the bus. Brian Dawkins' bus was off the chain with the little thing. Oh, that thing was tight.
Nailed it.
That was cool.
Nailed
when I saw that, I was like, "Oh, that is." I said, "He's still rocking the same look too," and that thing, it just got a little gray in it, just like this right here, Rod. Got a little gray in it.
All they needed was a hat. If they'd have put on one of the hats, they would wear.
Because that's what I was noticing. Urlacher's bus was cool. Ray Lewis's bus was a little weird because he went with the goatee look.
And that's not what we.
And that's not what everybody, like the beard or just, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was kind of.
It was weird.
Yeah. I did with like the 2003 Ray Lewis.
Randy Moss, they hit us with the.
Moss.
He probably told him to do that too. He's like, I want the cornrows because that's when I was at my best.
I was like, he got cornrows in his bus. You better come through, Randy. I was here for all of that. All of that.
Ray in West Virginia. Yeah. West Virginia, man.
The only thing that might have been a little bit better for his bus is if they'd have hit him with one of the blowouts.
The only thing I'm disappointed,
if they'd have hit him with the blowouts, because you know, back when he was the Vikings, when he had the cornrows, when the hair was blown out, that's when he really lost his mind balling. He balled out of control.
Hey, look, I'm gonna tell you right now. Only thing I had a problem with Randy Moss. Only thing I had a problem with, and I'm nitpicking and I'm being foolish. He ain't get no shout out to Jason Williams. I mean, I'm just saying that was his boy in the basketball. They played ball together. You know, that was his dude. You know, Jason told him, "Randy, you okay? But you better go play football." I'll take the basketball. You go play football. People forget that Jason Williams and him was high school. I think 3 to 4 years. Because they've got clips out there where he's throwing alley-oops to Randy Moss. Randy Moss is going up there and punching it down. I mean, he is 6'4". But anyway.
Right. Right. There is that.
Urlacher's was basic, cool. It was real cool. But I guess, you know, he figured, hey, let me get my stuff, get it out of the way, because, you know, I know, man, when I saw Ray Lewis put the Janet Jackson headphones on, I was like, oh my God, is this about to happen?
Yes.
When they went to commercial break, and I saw him getting the headphone, I was like, why is he? I was like, this man didn't even touch the podium. Like, he just, I was like, oh my God, it's about to be on.
Right. Yeah. And I was so upset. But the funny part was on NFL Network, and I'm sure they'll re-air it again at some point.
Well, I recorded both that and ESPN. I'm gonna go back and look at it. I looked at ESPN. I was gonna say,
if you just fast forward to the end when they get to the Randy Moss and Ray on the panel talking to them after the ceremonies are over.
Okay.
They cut to a still photo of Michael Irvin's face when he sees Ray Lewis on the stage with the live mic. That joint is priceless. And they were like, wait, Mike, your face. And he said, I couldn't believe they gave that man a live mic. Right. He said, and when they cut to it. They caught him perfectly. And he is sitting there, eyes popped out, mouth hanging wide open.
The playmaker,
is that
man.
a wide mic? That thing was hilarious. You got to see that. You got to see it. It's absolutely hilarious. I said, oh my goodness. And I don't know, listen, Ray Lewis, he did entirely too much for the Hall of Fame speech. Sir, I don't even know what you were talking about. I know you went way too long.
He don't know what he was talking about either. So
you went way too long. I tuned out after about 7 minutes in on that, and then I looked up and was like, "Oh, he's still talking." Hey,
he
why?
said it was gonna go at least 25. They told him 22. He said, "I'm going at least 25."
25 max.
He went at least 40. He talked entirely too long. Everybody else was within their time limit, and I really feel like, and he never got to it. And it was funny because one of the girls that works with me in my part-time, she was talking about how she got home and so she turned it on because her husband and her sons were watching it. So she walked into the room and she was like, "Oh, Ray Lewis was talking." And she said, "I stood there for about 2 minutes and then I realized," she's like, "I didn't want to see that because it looked like he was trying too hard." She said, "I don't know what happened the rest of the Hall of Fame, but was he trying to be like somebody else?" I was like, "Yes." I said he absolutely was trying to get the same reaction that Randy Moss and Brian Dawkins got, and he could not bring that home. He could not.
I mean, the thing about Ray, but the thing about Ray, I mean, you know, I'm happy that he, you know, of course, he first bat, all that good stuff. But you know, the whole thing, you know, him talking about everything. I mean, I'm a Hurricane fan, so
right.
I've been following, you know, I mean, Ray 52. I mean, you know, it's
right.
You're a Hurricane fan. You. I mean, regardless what Ray is doing or not doing, you Michael Irvin's, you know, all the Hurricanes, and you know, I think the thing that I was cool. It was cool about what he was saying is how his career, you know, got bookmarked. But him, you know, he was kind of he was thinking so many people, and I was just like, I get that you want to thank everybody, but everybody's mama, you know, like I'm like, good Lord, I'm like, I get it. I'm trying to think though, you know, I'm thinking in my head how many mamas I would think, you know, and then I was thinking, you know, because he was just like, people were just popping up, like, you get up, thank you.
You know what though?
Right, thank you. You get up, thank you. You get up. I'm like, dang, right?
If it were me, I would thank the mama that gave me birth and whatever. Maybe one or two others. Everybody else, look, I just had to hit you at the after party. Like,
well, not even that. But not even that. You could have done one of those things like Brian Urlacher, because Brian Urlacher was like, I didn't get here by myself. There were lots of people that helped me along the way. Unfortunately, I can't name everybody. Brian Dawkins was like, if I try to list everybody, I'm going to forget someone.
Yes.
So know that I appreciate you and I love you. Ray Lewis was like, oh, I'm going to name everybody. And
that dude was picking cats out of the crowd. He was picking cats out of the crowd. You get up. You get up.
And it could have been so simple, just like, hey, I need all of y'all to stand up. That simple thing right there that several of them did, where they were like, all my teammates and coaches, family, friends, if you just stand up, round of applause. Awesome. Okay. Let's keep the party moving.
Bolognese, you making too much sense. This is Ray Lewis.
Listen, I knew it was all going. I knew it was all going terribly wrong. All going terribly wrong. Not at the moment that they gave him the live mic, because I was like, okay, we're going to be okay with the live mic. That just means he's going to run over. Where I knew this was taking
okay, wait a minute. What? So Steven Jackson is a regular on NFL Network now? That's not a good.
Oh, is he?
They need to stop.
Well, you know
they already got too many running backs that can't talk. They don't need another one.
Listen, like I said, they're hiring. They're hiring
but I'm just saying, right. But they got too many running backs. Marshall Faulk barely made it through, but he got better. Then you got LT up here.
But he's gone now.
You got Terrell Davis. You're gonna add Steven Jackson.
Don't forget Reggie Bush is up there.
We're gonna have to record every show so we can replay it to see what the hell they say.
Yeah, well, Reggie Bush is up there. He's not on. I don't think he does the Total Access, but he's on one of their shows.
Yeah,
he was on part of their coverage for the.
And they need to get rid of Nate Burleson. He's killing me right now.
Nate Burleson and Reggie Bush are on the thing together, and that was.
Nate
but hey, Nate Burleson can actually, you know, subject verb agreement.
Nate brings something.
There. Right, Nate Burleson gives you subject verb agreement. So I mean, hey, listen. You take what you can get. But with Ray Lewis, I thought we were going somewhere. I felt good about him thanking his mama. I even felt good about him thanking his dad, who wasn't there, who I'm not even sure he's ever met him, but he was like, I'm going to thank you anyway. I respected that. I was here for it. But then when he started telling the long story, drawn out story of we got to move to Tennessee, but my future wasn't in Tennessee and I wanted to go back to Florida and I had to pray. And I was like, sir, you're doing the most. Can we? You doing the absolute
thing
again?
He did the most. He did the most. But the one good thing is, at least he didn't talk about that evil that we call crime.
Talk about his.
Don't give me gas face like that.
His stool pigeon days.
Not his stool fishing day. He did glaze over it.
He was in that jumpsuit for a little bit. I told you what happened.
He did glazed over it.
But did he sweat that jumpsuit out like he sweated out his?
He sweated out that jumpsuit. And Rod, I'm telling you,
he sweated out his suit.
They went to him. They finally went to him.
But Rod, you're wrong because he did thank his Atlanta family. He thanked all of his Atlanta family and friends.
Michael Phelps.
For him during that time. Lord, he thanked Michael Phelps. I was like, bruh.
Michael Phelps.
Like, sir. Because the problem I have with Ray Lewis's speech is that I get it. You're a football player. You're famous. You're a celebrity. It goes and stands within reason. You were going to know some other celebrities and famous people.
But did you have to run down your resume?
Did you have to name drop? Because almost 15 minutes at the end of his speech was just dropping names. He just dropped names.
I told you, he was picking cats out of the crowd.
But even then, he started running through people that they sat with at the luncheon in the Hall of Fame luncheon. Hey, we get it. You met other Hall of Famers. You're at the Hall of Fame inductee ceremony. I don't need a list. Nor do I need to know that you sat in between Jim Brown's legs like a child.
Okay, you know what? Let's move on. That note, let's move on to something else.
Do we want to talk about the elephant in the room?
Was I the only one?
What's the elephant in the room?
Didn't need to know that.
I mean, the elephant in the Hall of Fame.
Oh, Mr. T.O.?
The pink elephant?
I haven't even listened to his speech yet. You talking about T.O.?
Yeah, I haven't either.
I heard they people that were talking about it said he said some things that was pretty legit. I mean, I wouldn't expect T.O. to say anything that wouldn't necessarily be, like anything crazy or controversial to the point that didn't make sense. Because like if people don't realize, T.O. is actually pretty intelligent dude. He ain't no dummy.
I didn't expect him.
He's very savvy. He's very,
I didn't expect him at all to sound stupid. Yeah. I didn't listen. I haven't heard the whole thing.
No, I was thinking people thought he was going to get on there and try to really, really go after certain people. Basically, what they said at the end of the day, the tone was more around how he felt the media kind of shifted some of the things that weren't necessarily the truth. But he said, and like in some cases, he just went along with it because he couldn't fight it because the media had the story. And they were going to make the story what it was. And I think he kind of said some things around that was part of the reason why he didn't want. That's part of the reason why he felt like he didn't get in sooner, is because the voters allowed themselves to believe the things that were happening in the media and not believing him or who he was. That was one theme that came out of it. I think they said
that was the theme. Then there was also the theme of he loved himself more because he told a fan that shouted out.
Yeah, I saw that one. And that's the one clip I did see.
And then he talked about that this was his protest so that other Hall of Famers wouldn't have to go through what he went through. But basically,
that ain't changing nothing.
Bits and pieces that I've heard and snippets that I've got. Basically, even though it wasn't a poor me speech, it was a poor me speech, and I'm the victim here.
It was the fact that he didn't follow the.
No, sir.
Yeah.
You were a jackass.
Yeah.
And whether or not you feel like the media blew that way out of proportion or not, that still holds true.
But you know what? Even if the media blew it out of proportion, okay, one incident I could see is like, okay, you know what? Maybe I need to, take a couple steps back. Especially, when I move on to Philly. But then you had the incident in Philly and then Dallas or whatever. I mean, it's like, okay, stuff just didn't happen. You know what I'm
right.
saying?
And you know, because he had the issue in San Francisco, and when he came to Philly, people were like, "Oh, Lenise, how you feel about that?" And I was like, "I'm okay," because I'm like, you know, it's just one team. It could just be in that particular ownership, teammates or whatever, because you don't know, because that's just one incident. But then when it happened in Philly, I was like, okay, as the saying goes, you know, one time is a coincidence. 2 times, now it's something.
Now we start to see a pattern.
Right. And then the 3rd time is definitely a pattern. So, you know, okay, listen, sir, the common denominator in all of these issues was always you. Because prior to T.O. coming to Philadelphia, we didn't have locker room issues. Nobody was fighting in the locker room. Nobody was going to fisticuffs in the media. None of that. So,
I think my thing.
So he's the driving factor in all of this. Yeah. And so my thing is, okay, even if you feel like I said, the media blew it all out of proportion and, oh, woe is me, I was, you know, characterized falsely or incorrectly or too harshly or whatever. Dude, it's well documented. You were a locker room cancer. You absolutely positively called your quarterback gay or insinuated that he was gay.
I think
you called him soft. You called another one, you know, weak and scared. I mean, you went all in on all your quarterbacks, except you didn't cry for Tony Romo. But and then still drove a bus over him. So listen, dude, stop. It's not me, it's you.
I think the thing is I wasn't opposed to him doing what he did, but I think at times I think his message would have been a lot more powerful if he actually would have came and just said, and here's the thing, you got a platform. What bigger platform you gonna ever get than a Hall of Fame speech? Right. What's gonna happen? It's already done. I'm not saying you go out there and disrespect the whole process and you disrespect the people, you know, and the voting and all that. But what you said, he could have easily just said similar things at the Hall of Fame. Like I guarantee you, won't nobody reading over his speech going, "Let me look at your speech first." Right. Okay, you can go say it. You know, I would have just got out there. You can't look. Once you give it to me, it's mine. I would have got out there just like it would have been Michael Jordan's speach all over again. Like
that's what I'm saying. It's not like they're gonna send Man Simpson and
I would have been out there like, look, y'all know I'm not happy about the process, but I'm gonna thank all the people that helped me. I love me some me, but I'm gonna be real with y'all. Y'all know I should have been up here 3 or 4 years ago. I'm just gonna put it out there. I appreciate, I respect the game. I mean, there's a way that you can do it. Because trust me, he's savvy enough that he could have found a way to do it without.
He could have absolutely have done it there, but then also
been one of them things like this where it goes all the way around and then comes right back and lands right there. He could have easily and Cats would have been down there like.
Well, one thing that lots of people are missing in this, and they're like, "Oh, he had the right. No, I'm on his side."
Well, yeah, Sam Bradford with the Cardinals. I was trying to figure out who that quarterback was.
Taking away what he didn't only cheat himself, he cheated his family, but he also, more than anything, he cheated the fans.
That's the thing that
he absolutely cheated the fans.
Yeah.
And I have a coworker that I work with, and when they first announced the Hall of Fame class, like him and a couple of his boys, they were mad hype about it. Basically everybody had a childhood hero going into the Hall of Fame. So it was now going to be a boys weekend. We're going to Canton. We've never been. We're going to ball out. We get the VIP package. We're going to meet the Hall of Famers. Everybody's excited. Everybody's hyped. Money is spent. Trip is planned. Vacation time has been taken. And then T.O. goes, "Oh, I'm not coming." What? What do you mean you're not coming?
Right.
I dropped thousands on this to you. Like, I'm here, I'm going for you. Because people going to Canton, Ohio to see the NFL Hall of Fame isn't a trip that you make every day. Most people go once. And usually they make the trip when, they try to make the trip when their favorite player is going into the Hall
their favorite player or their team is being represented or something like that.
Their team is being represented
and they just
really
got the money and the time to go, because
and they're like, we're going to do this, and then they don't ever go again.
Because if you think about it, it's very rare that you see certain teams represented back-to-back years you know, because they've limited now the number of people that get in every year is 5 to 6, 7 players and a coach or a contributor. But, you know, so if you get a person that's on your team, like last year, honestly, I can't even think of who was it last year. Was it Jason Taylor last year?
Jason Taylor was, he was last year. Jason
Taylor. So like, you know, so
yeah.
I mean, let's just face it. When is another Dolphin going in? But anyway, I'm just being real. I mean, like the Panthers haven't been around, but the first time they have a Panther go in, which could be somebody like a Steve Smith or, you know, you might be like, hey, that's one thing I might save up and go do, you know, and if there's other players that are coming that you like, oh, I get to see this person, oh, I get to see that person, and then that person goes, well, I ain't coming. Yeah, it's just like going to the basketball game to see the Golden State Warriors play, and then you look up and Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, and Klay Thompson all sitting on the bench in suits, saying I don't feel like playing tonight.
Right.
But I didn't drop $400 on floor seats, you know.
Right. What do you mean? No, somebody go and dribble the ball tonight.
I was about to say, Curry better get out here and do something.
Right. Somebody's doing. Y'all better.
I told you that happened to me for real. Like I went to go when Iverson came to Indiana, and I went and bought lower level seats, and that fool got a cold. I was like, really? You sick?
Right.
It was like a cold or flu. Actually, it was the flu. It was, but he was really, like they say, he was throwing up so bad or something that he was just like, he might even throw up on the floor. I was like, man, look, get a bucket. We'll
risk it. We'll risk it. And that was my whole thing. I'm like, people have spent mad money, and they weren't going just because. Like lots of people were going. Another girl that, she said she supported T.O.'s actions, but she was excited. She was an Eagles fan, and she's like, well, 2 of my favorite Eagles players are going. So she was disappointed when he said he wasn't going. She was still going, but she was like, I mean, I get why he didn't go. No, I don't. I don't get why he didn't go, because he's being selfish, and that's all he's ever done. And even though he tried to paint this as, I'm trying to, stop this from happening to others. No, sir, you're not. You're proving.
Now, I read somewhere that
stop it.
The reason he might not have been going was, like you was talking about before, with money. Maybe his funds weren't right, because you got to get there and quote unquote after party and all that good stuff. I mean,
he doesn't have to throw an after party.
He doesn't have to, but
I mean, granted, his ego would have wanted him to, but he didn't have to. But but here's the other thing, though. You've also jammed yourself up, because once you get into the Hall of Fame, folks call you all the time for speeches. And that's how you make extra money.
That's how a lot of them make money.
That's how a lot of dudes in the Hall of Fame still get good checks rolling in. They get, they give a great Hall of Fame speech, or even they don't.
And they sign small contracts to do autographs.
And all that kind of stuff. Well, sir, you weren't there to meet any of those people or make any of those connections. But then also, like I said, he cheated his family, because also on the NFL Network, when they were talking to Randy Moss and Ray Lewis, both of them talked about the experience and how excited they were for the experience that their kids got to have and their family got to have, being around all the Hall of Famers. Ray Lewis was like, my son got to take a picture with Lawrence Taylor. Who would have ever thought? So they were super excited about that experience. And, Randy Moss was saying that, because they asked him, how did he come to pick his son to introduce him? And he said, well, my choice originally, he said, would have always been Denny Green. But he's no longer here. He said, so I picked my son. He said, because my son is trying to follow in my footsteps. He said, so I thought it would be cool for him to actually see the steps that I had to take to get where I am. And so, he had him with him the whole weekend, bringing him through that experience and all the learning and stuff that they got to do. And on top of that, just the networking, but just being able to be in that moment with their family, their wives, their kids, all of that kind of stuff. Your family doesn't have any of that. And I feel like one day, I mean, if he ever grows up and matures, maybe on his deathbed, I don't know, he's going to look back and regret the decision not to go.
Oh, he most definitely is.
Yeah,
he's going to look back. And there's certain things in life that even if you're like, I'm not really sure I want to do this, you have to be mature enough and adult enough to know that there's no do-over on this. I am never, ever going to be inducted to the Hall of Fame again. I'm there now. But I don't ever get to go back and be like, let me give my speech now. I've changed my mind.
Right.
That never happened. This was a once in a lifetime opportunity, and you cheated everybody. You cheated absolutely everybody out of that opportunity,
including yourself.
Right.
I mean, like I said, I get the protesting, but like I said, at the end of the day, he could have did something different. Hey, real quick, man, I just looked up at the screen. I didn't realize that maybe where I've been under a rock. I didn't realize Steve Smith was battling depression.
I heard about that yesterday. I haven't had a chance to read that article, but
yeah, I'm gonna go check that out. I mean, because if there's one Panther that he's he's up here talking about it a little bit, and he's got an article on NFL.com talking about his battle with depression and how he basically decided had to fight through it and go seek help, so he can get back on his routine.
I feel like more players will say that now or admit to it now since Brian Dawkins Hall of Fame.
But I also think too, though, Lanice, that this is now the day and age that players are not holding back anymore on certain things that have. Like, I know there's been pieces of it here and there, like a Brandon Marshall and a few other folks.
Right.
But I think you're gonna get and there's no doubt that Brian Dawkins' speech, that's gonna be part of it. But I think, I think a lot of these players are ready to talk about a lot of stuff because it's not, you're not less manly now to talk about concussions. It's not less manly now to talk about being hurt or playing hurt or having depression or having issues or having anger issues, all of the stuff that being bipolar,
right?
All of that stuff now.
Though, if you think about it, Pete, though, Brandon Marshall is the only active player.
Right.
To talk about it.
Yeah.
But everybody had something, and they did talk about too on the NFL Network when they were discussing, like asking people what their favorite parts were of the Hall of Fame. And Michael Irvin actually said he said his favorite part, he said the most memorable part was Brian Dawkins' speech. He said because we had no idea. He said nobody had any idea. He said, but he said on top of that, he's like, I really feel like he's going to save somebody's life. He said, because somebody just every day going through depression is going to watch this and be like, you know what? I'm going to push through because there's hope on the other side.
That's true too. Hey, I can't be on here too long, but any thoughts around that Urban Meyer mess going on, man? Like, I honestly
gotta be honest.
The story, but then I came back. I was like, oh, damn.
Hey, listen, I thought about it. I thought about the minute the story broke and I was looking at it. All I could think of was Dion.
Yep.
Accountability.
Yep.
Responsibility.
And the truth. Spoon-fed truth. Urban Meyer, urban liar.
Yes.
That's what he said.
That's all I could think about.
Urban Meyer, urban liar.
Urban liar.
I was hoping Dion might make a pop-up appearance just to
talk about that.
Oh, we got to get to Jarvis Landry too. I'll get to him in a second. Anyway, I don't know if y'all saw what happened on Hard Knocks.
But, I saw the clip.
I heard the clip.
But let's stay on Urban Meyer though. Let's stay on Urban Meyer. But yeah. So I mean, here's my question though. I'm not trying to be, and Lord, please don't. I'm not being insensitive by no means, because something went down with that dude. He should have been disciplined. Something should have happened.
Right. Bottom
line. But is that Urban Meyer's responsibility? Like, is it because he knew and he didn't fire him? Or, like, I'm trying to understand, because he had a domestic issue with his wife. How is he responsible? I mean, educate me, because I'm not trying to be funny or nothing, but I'm just trying to sit here and go, if somebody works for me and he's having an issue and cops comes to his house, how am I responsible? Like, I'm trying to understand.
I don't think they're holding him responsible for it. They're holding him responsible for not reporting it because
it was violation.
And what the issue is that there is I guess it's basically a morality clause in Urban Meyer's contract that he has to report. Because
that makes sense.
There was one in his original contract.
That makes
the
sense.
Extension that he just signed, because when the story first broke and they and they were like they decided they were going to suspend him and the investigation was going to start or whatever. They actually, what was I watching? I actually think I might have been watching Undisputed, and they had a clip. They had the snippet of the verbiage, I guess, that was in his contract for his the one that re-upped, and they were like, this one was actually more detailed than the first contract he signed. And essentially, with the contract that he signed, he is obligated to report any wrongdoings that he knows are legal violations, so forth and whatnot, what have you, for anybody on the staff or any players. And if he doesn't, then he's in violation of his contract. So the issue isn't necessarily that he knew. It's, did you know and did you tell anybody?
So
if you knew and didn't tell anybody, then you're in violation of your contract. I don't really know that they care, per se, that the coach was beating his wife.
So let me ask this.
Violation of his contract.
But let me ask this though: was this reported to the police, or was this just something that was happening on the behind the scenes and nobody was just not saying anything? Because I guess that's what I'm trying to understand. Like, if this was did he ever get? Because if a cop showed up, then everybody knew.
Everybody should have known. Right, everybody should have known.
That's all. So I'm just trying to, because I haven't really read anything. I haven't done any research. I just
from my understanding, what took place, or like in Florida, there was an incident and cops were called, but then when they did the investigation, I guess based off of what Urban Meyer said, that it wasn't really what.
Oh, yeah, if he did anything like that too, then. And
I want to say she recanted too. Like, I don't know if they were married at the time or just dating, but I want to say also that at the time the coach's wife recanted the domestic violence piece, so it wasn't really that took place. So Urban Meyer didn't do anything in Florida, but then in Ohio, apparently what the issue is that the wife or ex-wife are separated. I'm not sure if they're divorced yet or going through a divorce still or whatever. It might be officially divorced now. But apparently,
I mean, I get it. If it's a clause.
Well, no, she said that
it's a clause. It's a clause.
Urban Meyer's wife, because she had left her husband at the time, and she said that she had a conversation with Urban Meyer's wife and was telling her why she had left her husband, and was detailing all the abuse that had gone on. Because I guess they were friends also, because they're coaching, so they work together. The families know each other. And she detailed and apparently sent pictures to Urban Meyer's wife and so forth. So even if she never reported it to the police, she told Urban Meyer's wife. And so it's kind of one of those things that, oh, so you're saying you never told your husband, and she's saying that she told Urban Meyer's wife, and Urban Meyer's wife said, well, I'll have to tell Urban. But she did say, she's like, I don't know that she ever did.
That's a mess. That's a mess.
That's a whole mess.
That's a whole mess, yeah.
That's a mess.
It's a whole mess.
I mean, and I'm not saying right, wrong, or indifferent. I mean, if he did what he did, he should have been disciplined, should have been like whatever.
Fired. Right.
But I guess my thing is I mean, the whole clause and all that, I get it. That's in his contract. But that's just interesting to me, because I'm like you said, if a cop got called or somebody got called,
then everybody
should know. But then if they didn't do anything and you ain't say enough to get them to, because sometimes with certain situations like that, when it's like, oh my God, a person is being abused, and then they actually call for help, and then sometimes the help gets there and they're more protective. We've seen a lot of cases in that where they protect the man because they realize that, if you say something, he's going to go to jail. Like if he's really doing something and you really want to report this person, they're going to get locked up. It's going to happen now. I mean,
and that's what he was saying in Florida happened. Is that I guess she recanted, but what transpired and took place, I'm not real sure, because what it sounds like from the reports that have been said is basically everybody around Urban Meyer knew, but at no point did anybody mention anything about there were police called or whatever. And I'm not really sure why the guy got fired, because he's been fired recently from Ohio State, but I'm not really sure why he got fired.
Yeah. Anyway,
let me ask y'all a question though. And I'm like Pete now, I'm not taking anything away from, the whole domestic violence situation. But don't y'all think that maybe Urban Meyer's quote unquote reputation plays into this a whole lot. And by reputation, I mean, okay, well, how he projects himself, for lack of a better phrase. Well, he's a liar, yeah.
Known to be a liar. That part.
He has this image of, the moral authority, so to speak. So it's like, okay, well, you holier than thou and whatnot, but you came in for your man who's knocking his wife upside.
I mean, I'm sure part of that plays a part, but I also find it interesting, and I don't know if that's something new. That I don't know that all colleges, universities, employers have that type of morality clause.
I don't think they do.
Contract. Even after Joe Pa, I'm not sure that that's something that all colleges and universities do. I feel like that's something Ohio State did specifically because it was Urban Meyer, because he's known to be a liar.
Well, or Tressel.
But I think that at the end of the day, but I think and I don't want to dwell on this one too much, but I was just real curious, like how he's getting caught up. Bottom line though is, at the end of the day, he ain't gonna step down, is he? He's not gonna make him step down.
Like a $38 million buyout.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna make him step down. But here's the thing: if it's determined that he knew about it and didn't report it, they don't have to make him step down. They can fire him based off of that clause, and then they don't have
to.
So they're doing this investigation.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's supposed to, in the media, it's supposed to look good, because women's rights and this is wrong and all of that stuff. But if you follow the money, what they're looking at is, we need to get to the bottom of this, quote unquote. But if we can actually find out he's lying, then we can save face by firing him.
Yeah, they're not worried about the whole bottom line.
And then,
trying to do anything for the woman. They're not
right. So, but we can fire him and save the school $38 million.
Yeah, it's
whereas
always a
if
money
they're
grab.
just doing it for aesthetics to make everything look better, if they fire him and there's no proof or no evidence, they don't find anything, then they still have to pay him that money.
And I take that back. It's not Nate Burleson. It's the what was your boy, the wide receiver that kept coming back for to the Packers?
Greg Jennings.
Not Greg Jennings, the other one that used to come to the Packers. He was with the Raiders and he came back, and it's like he just would step in and him and Aaron Rodgers, like, ooh, he got a big long head.
I know who you're talking about. But Nate Burleson is on NFL.
Yeah, but Nate Burleson is not the one I want to get rid of. I want to get rid of the other one. Jackson. Okay. Is it Jackson? Something Jackson? What is his name? James Jones? Jones?
Not for me.
James Jones. Hold on. Yeah, I think it's James Jones. Maybe. I think it's James Jones, the one that kept coming back to the Packers.
What's his name? James Jones?
Something Jones. I gotta figure this out.
Now, Pete, now you're gonna make me start the Hall of Fame.
Yep, James Jones. Yep, James Jones. Yep. Okay. Yeah, big old long head. He was with the Raiders and then he came back and then he went back to the Packers and that was his last team. But he's on the NFL Network too now and he's terrible. Absolutely.
Okay.
He's the one I want to get rid of. Nate Burleson is cool.
Nate Burleson is the one that was up there with Reggie Bush.
Yeah.
That night. And I can't think of who the guy is that does their actual, he's supposed to be the reporter.
Oh, my dude's up here right now, the Red Zone dude. I like that dude. He's my favorite, man. That dude is a beast.
The Red Zone dude is your guy?
Oh man, that dude, man. I just want to know when he go to the bathroom. That's all. But anyway. But yeah, Landry, man. We can stop because I don't even want to talk about Trump and LeBron and all that stupid stuff. That's not even. Everybody knows what Trump's doing, and so I ain't.
Right.
Worried about that. But this whole Landry, man. So I was laughing at Bomani. I work from home today. I was laughing at Bomani Jones. First of all, him and Pablo got this show that's terrible, by the way.
And the show was awful. I've been on vacation the past few days, and I've caught.
Yes, it's bad.
Yesterday was the first day I saw it. Today I only saw like 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah, I watched it a few times and recorded it. It's bad. But
Pablo messes it up for me.
But I like Pablo, but Bomani said
I like Bomani too, but the show is just bad.
Nah, it's just not a good concept. It's like
the show itself is bad.
Our show is better than that show. But anyway, but Bomani said how can Jarvis Landry come into and start chastising the receivers about not practicing this stuff, talking about this how you win, and he just came from the Dolphins.
Because he said, do you realize how bad you have to be if the Miami Dolphins can come in and chastise you and tell you why you suck?
Oh my God. I thought I was going to lose it. I was like, that's my team. And he's telling the absolute damn truth.
No lies.
I was thinking the whole thing. I was like,
no lies were told.
Lenise, I was looking at this. I was like, we won 6 games last year. When did that happen? I can't remember. I was like, the Dolphins won 6 games? I was like, for real?
I hate you.
Remember now? Go back. I think we had the worst margin of victory. I think we had the worst in the league. Because remember when we were losing last year, we were getting blowed out. The Panthers put almost 40 on us.
But here's the thing, Pete.
Right? Am I right? I mean, I think we got beat like 38-7 or 38-10.
No, wait. But see, here's the point here, Pete. You won. The Browns.
No, but that ain't the point. So we were better losers.
No, that matters. That matters.
That matters in the grand scheme of things.
No, it matters.
We all starting from the same loser pool. The only winners in this process is the Eagles. That's how I know the pack. No, we suck. We are terrible. The best thing we did is get rid of Ndamukong Suh. I actually like Landry. That would have been, I'm glad I don't buy Dolphin jerseys no more because that would have been the jersey I would have bought, and they let this fool go. So I'm like, I don't know what we're going to do this year. So they put up, we're going to end on this because I got to go, but they put the power rankings up, and they got the Vikings as number 1.
Yeah, they said we're tied.
Whose power rankings?
They said that the Bleacher Report put out the NFL power rankings, and they said that the Vikings are number 1.
And Eagles number 2.
No, stop. We can't go past number 1.
And then they said tied. Wait, no, because then they showed it as there was
a tie between the Eagles and the
Vikings. And I was like, how did the Vikings become number 1 with Kirk?
They may not. They may not.
Starting quarterback, and all of a sudden they are ranked number 1 over the defending Super Bowl champs.
Hey,
who had their young quarterback coming back at some point season, and the MVP from the Super Bowl. I mean, I don't know. Call me crazy.
There's so many other teams that scare me more than the Vikings. There's about 5 other teams I can look. You call it what you mean, and I am the first person that would get on Blake Bortles, but the Jaguars scare me again this year.
Well, because their defense is the business.
And their offense will come around. I mean, I'm just saying their
run game is solid. I don't know about Blake Bortles, but their run game is solid.
But
defense is the business.
I'm gonna tell you another team.
Blake Bortles does not turn it over.
Think about this.
You can patch that up and play, and 90% of those.
The Rams scared the bejesus out of me this year. Because they got experience. Like we can't pull an experience card no more. They scared the bejesus out of me. Because them dudes got better in like the little things, like Aqib Talib and like this little pieces they did just kind of put in parts. I'm like,
the man's not back yet.
I'm not saying they don't need him, but I'll put it this way: the defense will take a hit if he don't come or whatever. But that offense. I mean, look, Brandon Cooks didn't work out for the Patriots. I think he'll be fine with the Rams.
Yeah, I mean, and they paid him like he was gonna be fine with.
But what I'm saying is, people are like, Sammy Watkins. I'm like, look, the way that the Rams are, they're. I'm just thinking about. Brendan, I know it's preseason, it's on paper. I mean, anything can happen. But when you look at power rankings, I'm like, you gonna tell me right now that you're gonna put Kirk Cousins over Carson Wentz or Nick Foles? Hell, Jared Goff, yeah. I'm just saying there's just so many other teams out there that are just in my mind, but the Steelers ain't going nowhere. The Steelers are right there. Like, how do you not take the Steelers? They ain't going nowhere. I mean, mess around and Derek Carr.
Your man from the Saints, Alvin Kamara.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see what he said?
No.
Did you see what he said, Rod?
I saw it.
He was like, he said that had the Saints made it to the NFC Championship game, they would have beat the Eagles.
Weird.
I was like, really? Did the game y'all didn't get to? That's what we're doing today? Okay.
And he shouldn't say anything. And he should never say anything about anything like that. When the Saints got to go on the road too. That's just.
Speaking of rankings, let's take a moment. I was watching Did you see First Take today?
I saw some of it. They just dropped me crazy.
When they were talking about the quarterback rankings, I don't know if it's Bleacher Report. I can't remember who did.
Yeah, they've taken everything off of Bleacher because that Bleacher Report was releasing all the stuff.
And they have Jimmy Garoppolo above Dak Prescott. They have him at number 11 and Dak Prescott at number 12. I thought, now that's just rude.
It's rude, but we're talking about 11 and 12. Who cares? Like, I get it's rude, but we're not talking like 3 to 4 or 3 or like Jimmy G is 3 and Dak's 8. 11 and 12, you get it. Who cares? Both their teams are going to be what they are. The San Francisco will take a step up, but they're not going to get the playoffs. And the Cowboys are in jeopardy. They might not make the playoffs. They may not make the playoffs because you think about it, the NFC East. As much as people want to keep talking trash about this dude and how he not take chances, and you got Andy Reid out here throwing some shade, I think the Redskins got better with Alex Smith. Just my opinion. I think they'll be fine. I don't know if they're gonna win it. They're gonna win a Super Bowl or nothing. But
I think they got better with Alex Smith too.
But so what I'm saying is, a team like Dallas, who had their chance a couple years ago when they had that run with the rookie and then last year with all that. You know how the Giants do. The Giants go in hibernation for 3 years, and then they come out, and then and when you least expect it, they go 12-4. So you got to watch out for that. The Eagles ain't going nowhere. You could arguably get. So my point is that when I talk about these quarterback rankings and stuff, I think they do stuff like that every now and then just to stir the pot up a little bit. If I was Dak Prescott, I would take it a little personal and go out here, but I think Dak Prescott's got a lot of other stuff on his mind right now because he's trying to figure out who he's going to throw the damn ball to because he ain't got nobody.
They have
you gotta look it up. I'm about to go to bed. You got to look it up.
Listen, I just figured I'd go to the Googles and we got the 28
Let me
chart.
close out a couple of these things. James Jones, you're terrible. You're big old head. Hope you watch this.
Tavon Austin?
Tavon Austin. He's still in the league.
Barely.
They're not good.
They have
look at beast mode.
Terrence Williams, Lance Lenore,
They still got
Katie Cannon, and Mikael McKay.
Okay. Marvin Jones had 1,100 yards receiving last year
and 9 touchdowns, 61 receptions. Who knew?
He had 1,100 yards but only 61 receptions. That's beast. That's pretty damn good.
Which goes back to why can't the Lions be better?
They can't put it together. When they get the offense going, the defense is not good. When they had the defense going, Stafford didn't have any weapons. So. I mean, Golden State gets a lot of catches in between the numbers. This dude,
Golden Tate. He's not the basketball squad.
Yeah, I said Golden State. That's why I said I gotta go. I'm tired. All right. Catch y'all next time.
Okay, Pete. Have a good night.
Have a good one.
Peace out, y'all.
Later.
Mm-hmm.